Persona 3 Reload has been lauded for being a largely faithful remake of the beloved PS2 classic. But that does not mean there aren't numerous changes, both small and large, that make Reload stand apart from the 3 other versions of Persona 3. We're going to break down as many of them as possible because, well, frankly, it's fun. Whether you started with Reload and are curious about what's new, or you're an original fan who wants to reminisce about the good old PS2 era. Most of this will be focused on gameplay and visual differences. We'll be touching on story differences, but I'm not going to be breaking down every little new story addition, because there are a lot of them and that would be its own video, and also I'm not interested in spoiling everything. But of course, this will still have spoilers, so maybe don't watch this if you want to experience the game completely fresh. I will be talking about everything up to the beginning of September in-game. Right at the start is Reload's brand new intro and opening theme, Full Moon, Full Life. There are a number of new tracks for Reload. It's Going Down Now is the new battle track that plays when you get a starting advantage on a shadow. Meanwhile, a remixed version of Mass Destruction plays other times. The other new track is Color Your Night, an absolute banger that plays during nighttime activities in the city. The game features additional remixed versions of classic Persona 3 songs. The list is I Want to Be Close, When the Moon's Reaching Out Stars, Iwatodai Dorm, Deep Breath, Master of Shadow, Polonia Mall, Deep Mentality, Changing Seasons, Master of Tartarus, Tanaka's Amazing Commodities, Burn My Dread, Because I Will Protect You, and Memories of You. A number of tracks from other Persona games also make an appearance. A version of the Satomi Tatashi Pharmacy theme from Persona 1 plays when you use the Crane game. And during the film festival, you can hear Chie's theme from Persona 4 Arena, Lisa's theme from Persona 2, and T-Break from Persona Q, to name a few. Reload features an all-new English voice cast, with the only returning voice actor being Tara Platt as Elizabeth. Fans of the original cast might catch a few actors returning for smaller roles. For example, Michelle Ruff, who voices Yukari, is now the Mayoi Do Antiques owner. Liam O'Brien, who voiced Akihiko, is Officer Kurosawa, and Yuri Lowenthal, who was the voice of the protagonist, makes an appearance as Yukari's father. On the Japanese side, the original cast all returned with the exception of Isumi Tanonaka as Igor, who sadly passed away in 2010. He's been replaced by Bin Shimada, best known as Broly in Dragon Ball and the Japanese voice of Krusty the Clown. You can pick either the English or Japanese audio in Reload, something you couldn't do in the original game or the PSP release of Persona 3 Portable. However, last year's port of Portable did give you that option. No longer are there specific places to save at. You can now save anytime and anywhere. Rest in peace, Dorm Guestbook. The one exception to this is Tartarus, where you can only save at the lobby. A brand new system for Persona as a franchise is Rewind Points. The game will create several autosaves during free roam periods going back a few days from where you are currently at. You can then select Rewind and pick one of these save points. This is extremely helpful for avoiding situations where you get stuck or make a mistake you want to correct. Previous versions of Persona 3 had a fatigue system, where your character as well as party members would have a condition of great, good, tired, or sick. This system was designed to prevent you from grinding out Tartarus all in one day, as your condition would worsen if you spent too much time there, causing negative battle effects or preventing party members from being available to use at all. This system has been completely removed from Reload, but you can still see vestigial elements of it, such as asking Fuka everyone's status back at the dorm. Sleeping in class, which you used to do to improve your condition, now gives you courage. If you were sick in the original game, you would visit the nurse and drink their weird medicine for some bonus courage. They've kept this by tweaking it so that you visit them the day after you go to Tartarus. When it comes to social links, the biggest change is that they now feature full voice acting, a first for the series.
What's up? I was just gonna sneak back into practice.
It's also much easier to see which social links are available without having to run around, thanks to the inclusion of the in-game map and mini-map. The texting system from Persona 5 is included as well, letting you know when social links are available. Interestingly, you'll also get text from businesses reminding you about part-time jobs or new items on their menu. Admittedly, I haven't experienced every social link in the game, so I can't comment on all of them, but there are a few noticeable differences that I have found. In the original game, for the Chariot social link, you had the option to pick from the track, swimming, or kendo teams. with Kazushi showing up for your team of choice. This has been reduced to track only. The same goes for the Fortune link, which had the options for art, music, or photography in the original, and is now only art. The other major change is you are now no longer forced down a romance path with the female social links like you were in the original. While their storylines are still the same, this does change the overall tone in the second half of their social links. Romance is also decided at rank 9, where previously it would be around rank 6 or 7, depending on the character. A major difference from Persona 3 and its sequels is none of the male party members have social links. They were given social links if you played as the female protagonist in Portable, but to do so they had to replace other social links. For example, the Magician Arcana Kenji was replaced with Junpei. Since Reload keeps the original game social links, sadly the male party members don't get their own here. Instead, they are given what are called linked episodes. Each male team member gets 5 special social link-like events. These are brand new situations that bring a little extra tension to these characters. You also unlock bonuses and new personas for completing them. For activities and shops, there are a number of changes, specifically during nighttime activities. Let's start with Polonia Mall. Game Panic has been changed to Game Parade. This change was actually made in last year's port of Persona 3 Portable. The crane game outside now has an option to play until you win, which is fantastic for completing Elizabeth's Jack Frost doll requests. The game names have changed, but otherwise function the same, with the same benefits and weekly schedule, and now you actually get to watch yourself play them. The antique store's name is changed from Shinshodo Antiques to Mayudo Antiques, and it now opens on July 18th instead of June 9th. Otherwise, it's still run by the same owner and performs the same functions as it does in FES and Portable. B Blue V, meanwhile, has changed several times throughout Persona 3's many iterations. In the PS2 versions, it was an accessory shop. In Portable, accessories were moved to the police station, and B Blue V was changed into a healing shop that improved your condition and offered a part-time job. With the fatigue system gone, B Blue V has changed once again. The store is now closed and doesn't reopen until July 22nd. It allows you to reorganize the skills of your party members' personas. Officer Kurosawa is no longer on patrol at night like he was previously, letting you buy gear from him. Also, you actually go to a back room in the police station when buying gear, which is a nice touch. Club Escapade now has more purpose. For starters, you need to get your courage up to even get inside. And guess what? There's more than 3 people there now? The fortune teller not only reads your future like she does in the original, but also you can now pay to have your fortune read, which will apply an effect for Tartarus that same night. It also has a shopkeeper that sells very expensive accessories meant for much later in the game and New Game Plus. And then there's a gossip guy in the corner who will sell you URLs you can check out on a shared computer in the dorm, which we'll touch on in a second. No appearance from Vincent from Catherine in this version, however. The strip mall shops have changed as well. You can now visit it at night, which you could not previously. One of the new nighttime activities is the Big Eater Challenge at Wild Duck Burger. If you pick the correct set of choices, you will get a boost to all 3 personality stats and unlock the Weekend Wild Duck set. Wakatsu Kitchen has a new seafood full course you can order on certain days. Same goes for the special Hagakure Bowl at Hagakure Ramen. There are 2 new shops on the 3rd floor, the Net Cafe and the Umishi Beef Bowl. Umishi lets you order takeout, and the Net Cafe sells software for use in the dorm PC. Speaking of, on the lobby of the dorm behind the front desk is a shared PC you can use. To use it, you need to head to the Net Cafe on the 3rd floor of the strip mall to buy one-time use software. These function like the books in Persona 4 and 5, offering stat boosts or other bonuses. For example, you first need to sign up for a membership to Umishi before you can get takeout. As I mentioned before, the gossip guy at Club Escapade sells URLs you can check out. These have rumors you can explore, like finding a special vending machine at Iwatodai Station. Later in the game, he even sells a dating software that you can use to boost social links. Let's stick around at Iwatodai Dorm for a bit because there are a ton of new things to do that were not in previous versions. A small little feature that's easy to miss is the fridge. You'll have an opportunity on specific days to put the lukewarm taiyaki you can buy at the school in the fridge. The results will vary. Sometimes you'll get chilled taiyaki, and other times members of C's will take your food and leave something else as an apology. Unlocked on May 25th is the new garden that Akutsuki has set up on the roof. Similar to the garden in Persona 4 Golden, you'll need to buy seeds to plant tomatoes, potatoes, and sprouts, which provide useful items for Tartarus. After June 16th, you'll unlock Hangouts with your fellow members of C's. These are separate from social links and are fun additional things you can do with the party that also give some good benefits. You can tend to the garden together, which boosts crop yield, cook with someone, which gives different food items, watch TV, or read together, which gives stat boosts. If you hang out with someone 3 times, they get a permanent buff, which can be incredibly useful. For example, Yukari will have her SP cost of her healing spells cut in half. Let's move on to Tartarus. Twilight Fragments are a new currency added to the game. They serve 2 major purposes. The first is for unlocking special chests found throughout Tartarus. The second purpose is you now use Twilight Fragments instead of money to activate the clock in the lobby. The clock itself functions the same as it did in Portable, and then it gives you a full party HP and SP heal. In the original PS2 version, it was a save point. Twilight Fragments can be found in the world, as well as rewards from Elizabeth for ranking up your social links. Once you reach the 3rd block of Tartarus, you will unlock the Great Clock, which has a chance of appearing if you use a Twilight Fragment. The Great Clock lets you pick up to 2 party members of a lower level and boost them up to the same level as you. This is a massive change to the game. There is no way to bring lower level party members up without grinding in the originals, which usually resulted in leaving those party members behind and never using them again. In the original Persona 3, there was an optional endgame block for Tartarus called the Monad Depths. This was super difficult. For one, you had to beat Reaper to unlock it, and it was meant for grinding to level 100 as well as unlocking the secret boss of the game. This has been replaced with 2 things, Monad Doors and Monad Passages. Both start appearing after reaching the 3rd block. Monad Doors spawn on a random floor, and inside is an extra powerful mini-boss, Shadow. Beating them gets you better rewards and Nile treasure chests, which offers a new type of material that can be used at the antique store. Monad Passages, meanwhile, are fixed doors that will show up right before border floors. These have 2 mini-bosses and offer even more rewards like costumes and Arcana cards. By the way, the game's original secret boss is still in Reload. To access it, you need to defeat the Reaper, which unlocks Request 101 from Elizabeth, and then enter a special Monad door on the 255th floor. Okay, let's move over to combat. In the original game, Mitsuru and Fuka would analyze enemies, and then, after a few turns, you would learn their weaknesses. This has changed so that it now works like it does in the later games, where you just try out moves and it saves the results on the analysis screen. However, you can still have Fuka analyze enemies instantly using the full analysis skill, which takes up her SP, something she did not have in the original. In previous versions of Persona 3, light and darkness skills were all instant kills. Persona 5 added damage dealing skills, and these have now been brought over to Reload. This changes up the usefulness of light and dark based personas quite a bit, and significantly changes party members Ken and Koromaru for the better. Added in from Persona 5, this game has its own version of the baton pass called Shifting. Also from Persona 5, you can use the assist option, which will automatically pick the persona and skill the enemy is weak to for you, as long as you know their weakness. A major new system is called Theurgy. You get access to this after Fuka joins your party, and you get your brand new C's equipment, which comes with all new outfits unique to Reload. Each member has a Theurgy gauge, which fills up by doing things that fit that character's personality. For example, Yukari's gauge fills up when she uses healing skills. Once full, they can unleash a special attack that doesn't cost any SP. Aegis's Orgia mode from the original is now her Theurgy skill. In the original PS2 version, having 2 certain personas on you would grant fusion spells, which were unique and frankly overpowering moves. For example, having both Jack Frost and Pyrojack let you use the Jack Brothers fusion spell. In Portable, fusion spells were changed into items. In Reload, the mechanic is now part of the Theurgy system, acting as the Theurgy skills for the protagonist. No longer do you need to have these specific personas in your party. As long as you've fused both personas, you'll unlock the move. Shuffle time returns with a few changes. No longer do the cards actually shuffle like in the original or spin around like in Portable. Instead, all cards are shown to you like in Persona 4 Golden. There is no sweep bonus, however. Like in Golden, major Arcana cards are included in the mix, which offers special bonuses. You start the game with only the Fool and Magician Arcanas available. Each time you defeat a major story boss or complete a Monad passage, you earn an Arcana card, and it is then added as an option to show up during shuffle time. Arcana Burst happens when you collect all of the available major Arcana cards you can get in that day. This allows you to acquire an additional minor Arcana card. It also boosts the ranks of minor Arcana cards for the rest of the night. Additionally, cups in the original game provided healing, while in Reload, they apply a random positive status effect, meaning they can do more than just restore HP. You are now told if a Persona card is one you already have in your party, so no more fretting about wasting a shuffle time. However, there is still a reason to pick a Persona you already have. If you do, you will gain bonus XP for every Persona in your party that has the same Arcana as the Persona in the card. Let's now rattle off a few quick changes and additions that I didn't really know where to fit in a lightning round. All of the school questions in Reload are different from the ones in previous versions. Thankfully, this game includes network functionality, which lets you see which answer everyone else has picked. Previously, dying was an instant game over, and pretty brutal at times. In Reload, when you die, you are now given the chance to lower the difficulty level, start from the Tartarus entrance, or return to the title screen. You can also retry the battle, but this is only for specific fights. They added in the dash from Persona 5 while exploring Tartarus. Tartarus also now has petrified shadows you can break for items. You can just hit a button to auto-recover health instead of talking to your healer or pulling up the skill menu. Sadly, you can't ask Fuka to change the music in Tartarus anymore. BMG changes for Tartarus are available in the config menu, but that's only for those that got the Collector's Edition or DLC packs. Previous versions would let you split your party up at any point in Tartarus, having them fight battles on their own or search for items and the stairs. This still sorta exists in the game. It's called Scouting, and it's a chance event that can happen after a battle. You can pick a single ally to go off on their own and search for the staircase and collect items. From the start, you have access to Fusion Search, which wasn't in any of the previous versions of Persona 3 and first added to the series in Persona 4 Golden. The protagonist can no longer use any weapon type and can only use a short sword. This change was made back in Persona 3 Portable and remains here in Reload. Also changed back in Portable was the ability to directly control party members. So, not really a new thing here in Reload, but I just want to remind you how wild it is that the original Persona 3 does not let you do this. Finally, let's end this by going over a few story changes. The script follows the original 2007 English localization pretty faithfully. Obviously, there are small changes here and there, but overall, pretty faithful. One example of a major change would be Operation Babe Hunt, which has now been called Operation Yakushima Beach Fling. The original game had a pretty infamous transphobic scene where the boys hit on a woman that turned out to be trans and ran away in panic. In Reload, this has been changed, where the woman is now a conspiracy theorist who thinks the sun is fake and tries to sell them her special sunscreen. Persona 5 was the first game to have in-game cutscenes instead of just anime cutscenes. Reload adds a few of these as well, changing some anime cutscenes into in-game ones, like the protagonist's Persona Awakening or Aegis's reveal at the beach. New anime cutscenes have been added as well, such as the reveal of the new C's combat outfits and the video message from Yukari's dad, for example. There are also new scenes added throughout the game. A significant one would be a new set of personal one-on-one conversations with Takaya, which adds a lot more to his character. As I stated at the start, I'm not going to break down every little story change in this video, but I guess if that's something you're interested in, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown. I tried to be as in-depth as possible, but I'm sure I missed something, so throw that in the comments if you want, and hey, I hope you have a wonderful day.